Dalton, our first video of our predictions for the 2024 college football season, and we didn't preview all of the Group of Five teams like we did for the Power Four, but we're still going to talk about the Group of Five, obviously, with, of course, a playoff spot is going to a Group of Five team this year. So what we're going to do in this video, Dalton, is go over the 5 Group of Five conferences and pick our conference championship game, our winner, and who will make it to the conference title game. We're going to go over that right now, starting off with maybe the best conference in the Group of Five, that is the American Athletic Conference. On who do you have winning the AAC this year over who?
So to me, the two best teams I think are pretty clearly going to be Memphis and South Florida, right? And I'm going to take Memphis over USF in this conference title game. I think it's really, really tough because USF has a lot of potential. Alex Golish as their head coach, a former Josh Heupel assistant. Byron Brown is one of the best quarterbacks in the Group of Five, and down the stretch last year played like one of the best quarterbacks in the country. But they have some issues, especially in their secondary. If USF can find their defense, I could see them winning this conference, but I think Memphis has a bit of a higher floor. Seth Hennigan is a little more stable. He's had 3 really good years as their starter, and Memphis has just a level of stability. I think USF is still finding some things, and Brown needs to clean up his ball security, but I like those two teams, and I like Memphis to win the American.
Okay, Dawn, you were actually wrong when you said the two clear best teams are Memphis and USF, because they're actually not. Because the best team in this conference that's going to win it this year is the Tulane Green Wave. I got Tulane beating Memphis in the AAC title game right now. Like you mentioned before, Memphis offensively is really good. I'm a little bit worried about that defense, though. I'm a huge fan of John Sumrall, the new Tulane head coach, with Willie Fritz obviously leaving for the Houston job. Ty Thompson, their new quarterback, former 5-star recruit coming in from Oregon. You know how I love 5-star recruits, Dalton. Mekhi Hughes, a star running back as well. They brought in Mario Williams at receiver from USC, who I think he kind of got lost in the shuffle at USC last year, but in the years before, he actually was a really, really good player. So I think he'll be a good player for them as well. And I like what they brought in defensively as well. Like Caleb Bransaw, I think at corner, they brought in from Troy, one of the highest graded corners that we had last year. Aiden Huntington, the D tackle, I believe from Louisiana Monroe, was a really, really high graded D tackle for them last year as well. So I like Tulane right now. I think it's a wide open conference this year. I'm going to give the slight edge to Tulane over Memphis right now, but I think Tulane and Memphis for me are the two best teams in that conference. Going over to Conference USA now, Dawn. Who do you have winning that conference this year?
This might be the easiest one. It's the defending champions. That's the Liberty Flames. I mean, look, they lost some pieces. C.J. Daniels at receiver, Preston Hodge at corner. But, look, they're bringing back Caden Salter. They're bringing back Quentin Cooley at running back. And, look, Jamie Chadwell's just always putting good teams out on the football field, man. This running game alone, I think, is going to be enough. Caden Salter is arguably the most dynamic quarterback in the Group of Five, one of the best quarterbacks in the country. Their run game is going to be enough to win them this conference. I have them winning over Jacksonville State, who had a really good season last year, 9-4 last year, really good defense. Obviously, we know the superstar guard, Clay Webb, on the offensive line, but I don't think anybody in this conference will be able to score enough with Liberty. I think Liberty is taking Conference USA again.
Okay, I'm with you on Liberty winning the conference. I actually like the Jacksonville State pick. I was very close to picking them over to make the title game, but I actually went with Western Kentucky as my team to make the title game as well. I'm all with you on Liberty, though. I think Liberty pretty clearly the best team in the Conference USA right now. They're pretty clearly the best team last year, going undefeated until they lost the Fiesta Bowl to Oregon. They were the best Group of Five team last year. That run game is absolutely elite. Yeah, they lost some key pieces on that defense and in their receiving core and C.J. Daniels leaving, but I'm still a big fan of Liberty right now. And Western Kentucky, I think, will be a solid team this year. Again, the Conference USA is really tough because I think it's wide open after Liberty, but I went with Western Kentucky right now, and I think they're a solid enough team that I would pick them to make the title game right now. Let's go over to the MAC right now. Let's get some action in here, Dalton. Who is winning the MAC conference this year?
Miami, Ohio won it last year, and I believe they're going to do it again. They got a lot of pieces coming back. Brett Gabbert at quarterback coming back healthy after breaking his leg in the middle of the season last year. They won the conference title without him, with Avion Smith and guys like that upsetting Toledo in the MAC title game. And I just think it's their defense, man. Matt Salopek and these guys that they have on defense, it's the best defense in the conference. Last year it was kind of neck and neck with Toledo, but Toledo's lost some pieces. Obviously, Quinyon Mitchell, R.J. Delancey going to, I believe, Wisconsin. Miami, Ohio, it's their defense, man. It's just so stable, and I think they've got the best quarterback in the conference in Brett Gabbert. I have them over Bowling Green, who went 7-6 last year. I think Harold Fannin and the Falcons can make the MAC title game.
Love that. All right, I got Miami as well winning that conference over Toledo. I have making the title game. I know Toledo lost Daquan Finn and some key pieces defensively, but they still have guys like Emmanuel McNeil-Warren at safety. They have guys like Anthony Torres at tight end, who I like a lot as well. So, yeah, I think that Toledo's Jerwan Newton, Johnny's little brother. Obviously, he's a really, really good player at receiver, too. So I think that Toledo's good enough to make the title game, but I'm with you, Miami. Miami's defense is loaded. They were one of the 15 best defenses in the country last year in terms of EPA per play, and they brought back 8 of the 13 defenders who played at least 300 snaps last year, including some stars on that defensive side of the ball. So Brett Gabbert has to stay healthy. They need some unproven guys, the skill position players, to step up a little bit, but I'm with you in Miami, man. I think that defense is absolutely fantastic, and I think they're the clear favorite to win the MAC right now. Let's go over to the Mountain West, Dalton. Who do you have winning that conference this year?
This is a tough one because there's a lot of really good teams, right? You talk about Air Force and Fresno State and Boise, but I think I've got UNLV and Boise in a rematch of last year's title game, but I'm going to take the Rebels to win it this time. I think, I'm telling you right now, and maybe I'll be dead wrong on this because they say it's still a competition for their starting quarterback job, but if they start Matt Sluka, the Holy Cross transfer at quarterback, I think UNLV could be really, really dangerous. The combination of him and Ricky White, he is an unbelievable runner. He's a solid passer. He made a lot of nice throws over the last couple of years to Jalen Coker, who I believe was an undrafted free agent, signed somewhere. I can't remember what team, but now he's got Ricky White, who we think is a top 10 receiver in the country. And I'm telling you right now, Sluka is a legitimate dual threat athlete. The rushing, he had a game last year with 335 rushing yards. He had games against South Dakota State with over 200. He's got the ability to win the Mountain West Offensive Player of the Year. That's how good, that's how athletic I think he could be. If Sluka wins this starting job and finds a groove, I think they will beat Boise State. They'll beat Boise State in the Mountain West title game.
I had the same game as you, but not the same result. I had Boise State beating UNLV in the Mountain West title game. I think, obviously you got Ashton Ginty, one of the best running backs in college football. Malachi Nelson, former 5-star quarterback transferring there from USC. That offense has a lot of upside, man, and they really caught fire last year. They started off 5-5 to start the season. Then they fired their head coach, Andy Avalos. Spencer Danielson took over. They won their final 3 regular season games, and they won the Mountain West Championship as well. I think they're going to continue that and roll through this upcoming season. They play Oregon. It's a tough game. That defensive line has to get better as well. But I think that offense, man, has such a major upside with Ginty and Malachi. If Malachi Nelson is a 5-star quarterback like he was coming out of high school, then, man, this offense could be difficult to stop next year. So I got Boise State over UNLV in the Mountain West Conference. Finally, Dalton, the final one is the Sun Belt Conference, a very fun one, actually. I think there's a lot of underrated teams in this conference this year. Who do you have winning the Sun Belt?
It's interesting because you've got a vacuum at the top, right? You could argue James Madison and Troy were the 2 best teams last year. Now they both lose their head coaches, but I kind of, this was one where I felt I was feeling a wild card. I was like, who's it going to be that emerges? But tell you what, I kind of like the highest scoring team in the conference last year. That's GJ Kinney and his Texas State Bobcats. Mm-hmm. And a big thing for me is getting Jordan McLeod from James Madison to play quarterback, right? He had a fantastic year at James Madison, one of the best players in the conference. And now they get him in this wide open offense that Texas State is running down there. Remember, they upset Baylor in week 1 last season. That's how good they were early on. And then they slowed down a little bit as TJ Finley started to slow down. But I think McLeod brings them a more consistent presence. I have Texas State over App State. App State making a second straight Sun Belt title game appearance and going down one more time.
Dalton, this is actually the first time we completely agree on one. I have Texas State as well beating App State in the Sun Belt Conference. And it was surprising because App State is actually the betting favorite to win the conference right now. But I'm all with you, man, on GJ Kinney. He was fantastic as his first season last year as Texas State's head coach. They had an 8-5 record. That was their best ever as an FBS program and their first winning season in 9 years. They won the bowl game as well. That was their first ever bowl game they played in. They beat Rice in that game as well. And then, man, that offense with the upside they have, they got Ismail Mahdi at running back. They brought back 5 of their top 6 pass catchers and Jordan McLeod. I think they upgraded a quarterback too with Jordan McLeod coming in there. And they also have a superstar pass rusher and Ben Bell as well. He's a really, really good pass rusher, one of the best that we have in college football. Third most valuable edge defender in the country last year. Led the nation in both pass rush win rate and pressure rate last year. So Ben Bell, really, really good pass rusher. Yeah, I'm with you, man. Texas State is my pick to win the Sun Belt Conference this year. We're not going to tell you our playoff team yet out of the group of 5. We're going to save that for next week when we drop our full playoff predictions. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. But obviously, it'll be one of the 5 conference champions that Dalton and I had right here. Best we got for our full group of 5 predictions for the 2024 season. Hey, thanks for watching the PFF College Football Show. Before I let you go, though, we have an unbelievable deal for you guys right now. If you use the code CFB25, you get 25% off your PFF Plus annual subscription. We've got the 2024 College Football Preview Guide that you can find over at pff.com, featuring the best players in the country from all 70 Power 5 teams, plus 10 Group of 5 teams that have the best chance at making the college football playoff as well. You can also gain access to NCAA premium stats for historical games, teams, and player tracking dating all the way back to 2014, so the last decade or so of college football. All the stats you can hope for, you can find in PFF Premium as well. Also, you can be the GM of your favorite NFL team with our unbelievable mock draft simulator where you can draft up to 7 rounds of players for your NFL team. And if you want to dominate your fantasy league, you could do that as well using the best fantasy tools on the planet. All of that and more with your PFF Plus annual subscription, which you can find for 25% off right now with the code you can find in the description. Or if you want to go to subscribe.pff.com and use the code CFB25 at checkout. Again, you get 25% off your PFF Plus subscription. This won't last forever, so make sure you take advantage of it right now.